I go back and forth because I've been on Kyle Shanahan. We know he's a great X's and O's guy. Comes from a great father. That's a great football guy. I've golfed with Mike Shanahan. I understand the football lineage here, but I know you're going to approach it more professional than I am. But I call him an overpaid underachiever. I just think that he's missed his window. I think he's missed his window for a few years. I think Lynch did a hell of a job creating this unbelievable roster that has failed. I give so much more credit to a guy like Sean McVay, who actually said, all right, this is the time to cut bait. We're going to go get a guy that wins the Super Bowl. Are we going to hit a few, down years? Yeah, but we got that ring, and that's what it's about. He went to another one and could have beat the Patriots, didn't get it done, got rid of Goff, boom, they win it with you. The Niners have had those same opportunities, have they not? And to me, that's the difference. I don't think they have a bus-driving quarterback. I think he's a bus rider. That's just my opinion. But I don't know if they've missed their window. I think they're now showing you what Kyle Shanahan is. This team has now gotten older. They're more injury-prone than ever, just like the Rams have shown, and other teams do in the NFL. But this is a roster that I don't believe can recover from it. You got a holdout guy in Brandon Ayuk that missed all this time, and then he holds out. You could have traded him, and then he gets hurt and doesn't even play for you, really. You got a guy in CMC who's really, we don't know, towards the end of his deal, greatest unbelievable back, but I mean, is he really healthy? And then you got a quarterback who didn't even have Kittles the other day, who's also hurt a lot. I don't know if this roster can sustain, and I don't even know if they're a playoff team this year. I think Kyle Shanahan has failed in multiple opportunities to win a Super Bowl. I don't think he'll ever win one. And I think he's very, very overrated when it comes to the top echelon of coaches in this league.
That was a lot.
Right.
So I'll go quick so we can go on to something else. Niners, I don't really care about the Niners. So the reality is when you base it off Super Bowl and chances of winning Super Bowls, he has come up short with in-game adjustments, with situational football, time management. That has shown. Now, to say on the flip side, he's not a complete – I wouldn't say he's a failure as a coach. He is a top-notch coach of winning football games, putting yourself in position to get in the playoffs year in and year out with a loaded roster. I'm not going to deny that. He has had success with below, average. I don't want to say below average, but average QBs, which says a lot to his system and the way he coaches. But also on the flip side, a perfect example yesterday in that game where they don't, how do I put it? JB will better explain this. They have hot routes off every concept. Okay. So to put that in perspective, with a quarterback that can audible and check to a new play and re-ID the front to pick up the blitz, they don't do that. They set the protection. They always have a hot route off of the play. So as a defense, you can predetermine who you want the hot route to be and then go make that tackle. So in a situation where it's 3rd and 10, Brock Purdy goes, dang, I can't audible because that's not the way our system is. I just got to go off the hot read. The hot is this little lookie. I throw it, tackle, boom, it's 4th down. Where the top guys or the systems, you check out of that. You're checking to a new play. That's why you study all week. When I was with Phil for 9 years, we would talk about Thursday night after 3rd down red zone period. We'd be sitting in the sauna together, and I'd be like, all right, who we going after? What's the looks? And he would go into this whole 5 minutes. When I get the shade and the ball's on the left hash and I see inside leverage from the nickel, I know they're bringing field pressure. So right there, I'm checking the scissors, or I'm checking the 4-beat, or I'm checking to Flutie. Like, that's what they would do. And that's what the system plus the coach plus the great ones would do. Now, I've always said this. I think Purdy's I think he's a really good quarterback. I just don't think he can lead. He can carry a team. And there's maybe 5 that can. So that's not a knock.
Right.
It's just the reality of what it is. When one of those guys are out on offense, he struggles. And that's just the way the game is sometimes.
Hey, Bailey, share the screen real quick. And this is a perfect example. Shout out to DV Sport for giving us this great, unbelievable film. This is the Brock Purdy that Weddle's talking about against the Chiefs. And right here, Weddle, if I'm a QB, my alert's going off. Ding, 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 ding. I got a strong safety invert down, covering up number 32. To me, 32 can be a possible blitzer, right? So that means I'm locked up. This guy has number 2, and look at the creep by this guy. He's got number 3, and now we're creeping over to the field. We're going to banjo and lock this up over here. And I'm trying to figure out if he doesn't see a hot, to your point, then he gets stuck when this is a fake hot and drops into coverage, and we bail out of here. Now he's stuck and not replacing the hot because these quarterbacks are so trained to just get it out of their hand, dink and dunk, instead of, okay, pre-snap's this and post-snap changed. I don't think these guys are understanding. Look, I think he's sitting here saying, okay, now coverage is changing. There's no hot here. So now look at how he struggles to go through the progression. I don't understand. I mean, this is just simple check it down at this point. If they're going to play coverage and bail out into quarters or whatever, just check it down right here and just
I mean, it's so simple, and I deal this. I deal with our quarterbacks and my son. It's pre-snap, post-snap reads, and what are you alerting yourself? Is it single high or is it 2 shell? What is my progression in the route concept from there? Then post-snap, it may change. You got to speed up your processing. In a Tampa 2, it's over the ball or it's the Indy route coming back into your window. It's the hook window's covered for Viking or dagger or whatever you call this concept. So it's right now. And the top guys, now this is only 3rd year starting. But it's processing, it's reps, it's either see it, know it, and go.
You just said we're in too high. He's creeping a little bit, but this is what it is. We're in too high. And right now, this can be a possible blitzer. We're seeing him run down. We can see that this is going to go to a man-free look or a 0 look. So he recognizes, okay, I got 6 to protect, especially if Kittle stays in. So I'm good protection-wise. So he goes through his progression, but he sees coverage. So
his eyes should have seen those guys drop out in that hook window, and he should have dropped it off to Kittle on that return route. And then Kittle probably would have made that guy miss because he's the monster. So I don't know what he's being coached. Those are the things that us, as when we're talking about it and seeing it, like I just go off my experience of how I play defense and what are those rules, and now coaching offense, how I would attack that, and how I teach the quarterbacks now. But it's, we don't know. So I don't know what he's being told. He may be told, something completely different. And then if that's the case, then that's their prerogative. And we're just kind of talking heads. But we have our experiences and what we think is right. And, I wouldn't say all the time, but we kind of know where the ball needs to be going, especially Coach JB. Like, right. He knows ball. So when we see plays like that, you're just kind of, you shake your head like, why does that even happen at that level? High school, I would expect something like that, but that level, the ball should have been out.
Yeah. I don't get it.
Let me ask you before we. I know you don't like talking Niners, so one more question, then we'll move on.
No, it's not.
I know I'm messing with you.
Just messing.
Do you think though? And I hate talking about people's money, but if the Niners miss the playoffs this year, does Brock Purdy still get top dollar next year in all season? It's a wrap.
Well, you can't. We can talk about it, right, Del? We can't because you have issues right now on this roster. If you pay,
they paid Ayuk when we all said that they should have traded him. That's what we all said. When you draft the kid in the 2nd round, you already said what you wanted to do with him. For some reason, now you re-signed him for a lot of money, and I think they re-signed the tackle. So I said I'm willing to pay him like $40 million. That would be my number. I think that's the type of quarterback he is. I'm not paying him over that. Now, if he wants to stay within the system and be coached up and be a part of this thing, then great. I'm with it. If he wants more than that, which he rightfully wants and asks and deserves, you're going to have to hit the road and good luck. And then we'll just start from scratch. So I don't see. I'm with JB. I think the window is closing. It has closed. You can't pay all these top guys at the position and not see the ramifications a few years down the line. And that's where they're hitting it right now. And if they pay Purdy a lot of money, then all those good players, top-notch players, are going to have to leave. You're going to have to cut them.
And that's another reason. That's why I just don't know, man. I mean, Lynch did a hell of a job there, but I mean, I know we're talking the Niners, but I don't understand how they haven't missed a window. I think it's came and gone, man. And unfortunately, this is the Niner team that hasn't won a Super Bowl, and to be honest, since 30 years. So I don't know. We're gonna see. What do you thought about your Rams yesterday? This is why I think Stafford's better than Mahomes all day long. He had 2 wideouts over 100, both multiple touchdowns. Both were injured, to be honest. He makes wideouts better. He's did it his whole career in Detroit with a bad organization, and then we compare him to Mahomes, who's on a great organization and has been, to me, average. But where are you at with Stafford's performance yesterday and going against a pretty decent defense in New England on the road? Pretty good win after losing to Miami at home last week.
Yeah, that was a
bad loss.
A bad, embarrassing loss, in my opinion. The way they were playing, what's at stake, and they needed to come out, play well, and put their best foot forward. So, man, I just, if anyone watches that game, if anyone saw that touchdown off the play action or high corner to that tight end, how difficult and how incredible accurate that throw is. I don't even know if there's another quarterback that could have made that throw in that situation because of the touch, the athleticism. Maybe a couple guys you could throw out there, but holy smokes, to some of the throws that he made. And to ask that at this point in his career to carry them to make those type of throws, that's what he's going to have to do. The defense is coming along. Those young bucks up front.
Yeah, Verse looking good. Yeah.
Fitz had a couple sacks, forced fumble. I worry a little bit about their secondary against top-notch teams, but they have as good a chance to win this division, and I would put my money on them because of the quarterback and because of the coach. But it's a coin toss. I mean, look at the Seahawks in Frisco. The way Geno Smith played in that second half, like you got to tip your hat to that man, and willing that team back with his legs and scoring like this. Like this is a huge. And, I love Mike McDonald over there coaching them up. So it's going to be exciting last second half of the season with this division. But I am happy. I was really, really disappointed in the way we played. I'm still on the team.
Yeah. Hey, you got a ring with him. Shoot, that's you.
Yeah, I just don't understand. And I might just be so out of date, I guess. And I'm the old man on the porch yelling, but I understand man coverage, and I understand that we're just going to lock our wideout down. But isn't there some FBI involved, football intelligence for some folks out there that don't know what FBI means in the football world? Isn't there some FBI needed here with this DB right here? Has no fucking clue what's behind them and what's coming. And you're in the red zone, and you're in the goal line, and you're just kind of – doesn't the quarterback – isn't he also being taught, okay, they turn their back, it's man, just fucking run. Nobody has me. There's no Mike Pillar. There's no spy on Geno Smith. And he walks in right here. Look at this DB, has no idea what's happening. And I'm just like, wait up. Let's box him out here a little bit and not have to really just follow him around. Like, he's so late. It's not even close. I don't know.
I mean, on the flip side, in the red
break it down
zone,
to DB. Yeah.
In the red zone, we play a lot of man. A lot of combo coverage, a lot of cut calls.
Yeah, I was so
and so when that guy progresses into the goal line or the end zone, we're taught to be in between the quarterback, us, and then the player. So they have to throw it over the top of us so we gain the back line, which is an extra defender. Then we're taught to basketball turn them or man turn because those little return routes, those dig and returns that you guys see the DB gets lost because he turns his head thinking the ball's coming, and then now the receiver went away. So at the end of the day, if you're going to play man, you better get home with your 4. And then one of those hole players or cut players, if you don't have a cut player like whoever that linebacker is that let his guy go, he becomes 55 or 56. Once that guy goes to shallow, he's probably getting picked up by another defender. You become the eyes on the QB. So it's that's not on the DB.
And then me though, like with my defensive line lenses, look at the right defensive end gets completely thrown inside and allows that lane for Jared Goff to even, or not Jared Goff, excuse me, for Geno Smith to even run. For me, I'm thinking rush lanes. You have a dual threat quarterback, guy who can run in a situation. Stay in your rush lane. There's no reason at all a defensive end should be getting thrown into the B gap to even allow that lane to be open. If he stays just outside the C gap, contained, Geno doesn't even have the opportunity to make that run. So there are different areas that we can point at, you know what I'm saying? But with my D-line goggles, I'm blaming the DN on that play.
Here's it. I don't think they went into the game thinking Geno's going to beat us with his feet because he's not a dual threat per se guy. He can ad-lib and beat you with his feet. Here's my reason, though. I want to know, E-Dub, where the mic is. So we're in man and zero down here, as we probably should be. It's goal line or red zone, low red zone, late in the game. There should be a Mike taking it back one way, and there should be a Mike or a Will, whoever, on the queue, right? And a rerouter. So I'm sure Warner's going to pass him to the Will that's sitting over there, who also has the back or some sort of belting the crosser, right, if they're going to run a rub route concept. But somebody has to have the back out one way if they're in true zero, and one has to have the queue, right, unless they're fire zoning this and filling the D in. But who goes B gap? I'm trying to figure out. They're losing somebody here. It doesn't look sound, and I know we don't have the full clip yet. We'll get the film here for next week. But I'm looking at it like somebody's missing there because when Warner crossed, as you pointed, Warner crosses the crosser, and then he has to redirect and go out there. Seems to me that if somebody already should have been there for the crosser, and Warner should have stayed right there. But I don't know.
Yeah, we don't need
know.
to see the full clip and what are they being taught? Like we had calls that as a safety, my eyes were on the opposite side of the field looking for any crosser. And the other safety was doing the same thing across to my side. So ball snap, I'm looking this way. And I played the nickel and dime before. So as soon as I was that guy, as soon as my guy goes in, I'm letting him go and get my eyes back on QB looking to rob the other side. So there's different ways to handle it. Now you're talking stacks and bunches. What are your rules? Are you haloing to 3? Are you in and out 1 and 2? Are you pressing the point, locking 1 and 2? Are you in and out 1 and 2 with, there's not millions. There's a half dozen ways to cover those things because each week you're getting schemed up off what your rules are. The offenses are going into red zone, right? These are our 3 plays to attack. How are they going to cover bunch? So you want to mix and match your rules week to week so they're not dialing you up for touchdowns down there. The games come down to third down and red zone. That's where the whole emphasis is. I mean, we spend more time on third down and red zone than we do at any other first and second down, midfield, shot plays, all this other crap. That gets glossed over for third down and red zone because that's what comes down to winning and losing at the NFL.